Hey everybody, welcome back to the Comic-Con podcast. This is episode 47. We are getting to the end of the year, the end of 2021. As always, I am one of your hosts, Zach, aka Milton the Manimal, and with me is my good friend and co-host, Justin, aka Nemesis Prime. What's up, bro?
What is going on, Zach? Yes, it is. It's the end of the year. It's actually pretty chilly here in New Jersey. Finally, time for some sweatshirt. Got the heater down here in the basement. But yeah, we're 47 episodes. Is crazy right now. We're loving it.
Yeah, it is kind of cold down here too in El Paso as well, man. Like it's been a little chilly.
It's not chilly. Don't give me that crap.
What's the temperature there?
Probably in like the 20s, if not 30s.
Holy shit. Okay.
What's your cold? 60 degrees?
Yeah, it's like 60. It's a little chilly, bro. I like grab my hoodie as I'm going out the house. Like I get a little cold, man.
Whatever.
20s, god damn, dude. I haven't been around that kind of weather. I've been down here for too long, man. 15 years down here. So yeah, dude. No, 20-degree weather, that's all you can keep that up in the Northeast. So
the basement gets cold, so I got to throw on the portable heater, the sweatshirt, the sweatpants,
yeah,
it's nice and cozy down here. Toasty warm.
You don't have a heater? Your heater doesn't go down there? You have to get the portable, or just doesn't? It's not super warm?
No, it's just there's no heat downstairs here. When like you visited, there's literally the only thing I have is like a little space heater, and I have like another electric heater that kind of shows off like the flames. It's part of like the furniture, but I never really use that one. I use the portable heater, which kicks it out, nice oscillating. So,
nice.
Yeah, man.
So we've got a few things to talk about this week in this episode. Not so much, no community stuff this week. Hopefully, everyone's kind of recuperating from Thanksgiving, spending time with the family and whatnot. So not a lot going on in the community as far as we know in terms of drama or questions or whatnot. But we do have some really cool articles this week. So
we got some shout outs though for the community.
Yeah. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that
first.
So we had a couple, so I never really knew how this worked, but like Spotify at the end of the year, and everyone picks like what their top, what played artists are or some shit.
They actually compile it for you.
Okay.
So I actually went to mine today.
What do you do? Like you click on it and it tells you?
Yeah, it literally says your 2021 like year in review. And it says like who your top artists are, who your top songs, genres. They make up like stuff. It's like if this was a movie, this would be your opening playlist. And it was like, what was it? Some song from A Day to Remember by Me. And then it was like, if you were to have like a dance off battle with somebody, it was like Kanye West's, what's that? Black Skinhead, that song. Yeah. And I guess because that's on like one of my gym playlists. So like it kind of gets repeated a lot, but whatever. So they pick some stuff, but, today, so we're recording this on December 1st. December 1st. Two members of the community who listen to us on a weekly basis, we really appreciate it. That they actually showed off and put it in their stories. One being the comic raider, James from the Comic Book Fiend Club, and our friend Thunderhouse Design goes by Hunter Jacks on Instagram. They put in their stories that their top podcast of 2021 was the Comic-Con podcast, which is that's awesome. We seriously are so humbled, like for us to make your top podcast on Spotify 10-11 months into the year, it is just absolutely awesome. I know like I don't know if iTunes does it because I don't listen on iTunes, but we would love to see if iTunes does that. If you guys can please post it in either stories or tag us in a post. Seriously, like we talk about this all the time, and we'll probably do like a year in review thing. Like I cannot believe like just how much it's been a lot of fun this year. Just all the people we've met and all the people that we've had on, and just the support has been awesome. And the fact that you guys are listening to the podcast and it made your top podcast, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, because I'm sure you can listen to Joe Rogan on Spotify, right? So yeah,
there's some other there's other podcasts that I listen to that I can't believe it didn't make other people's like top,
so we pushed them out, dude, because we're better. We're like the
hell yeah.
We're the underdogs here. But no, like Justin said, in the first year doing the podcast, and we'll probably talk about this more, like Justin said, also in like a year in review type thing. But we haven't even gone anywhere really this year because we're still kind of tail end of COVID, and so we do have a lot of plans to get out there in the community and do a lot more stuff. So the way this has been going, even just this first year, has is awesome, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much, everyone, and posting and shouting us out and spreading the word and everything. So as long as you want to keep listening, we'll keep talking. So
yeah. So if you're listening on Spotify and your year in review, even if we're not number one, like I know sometimes they do the top three. Listen, if we're like number 2 or number 3, please give us a shout out, throw it in your stories, share it to people that don't know about this podcast, because we're not a speculation channel as much as like both of us are on Lords of Longbox. We're not like a top 10, like obviously like Lords or CBSI or that other guy who does it. We love talking comics. We love being readers. That's one of the things that both Zach and I love. Like, we read books every week, and I think that's another thing that when I go to shows and people talk to me about it, they're like, oh, I really checked out that book that you guys talked about, or whatever the article is. Like, I learned things, and that's what we're trying to bring to the table on a weekly basis, is stuff that everybody doesn't have time to read all these articles on a daily basis. We try to pick out articles that I think that people should know about, things that are coming, whether it's comic book related, TV, movie related, whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to think that we are readers first and foremost. And, you hear it from all the different channels, whether it's YouTube, podcasts or whatever. And people say, oh, I'm part of the community. It's all about for the community. And I think our stance on some of those channels that say that and try to actually tell you that. But Justin and I receive no monetary support at all for doing this. This is because we love talking comics. This is what we enjoy, and we want to hear from you and talk about comics with you. So
true.
But so let's get into some of our articles. Which one do we want to do first? Which one are you thinking?
I'll briefly talk about the Wheel of Time, because I know that you talked about it last week. So someone who's never read any of the books, I finally dove into Wheel of Time. So I worked from home on Tuesday, and I binge watched the first 4 episodes of Wheel of Time. And again, for someone who's never read the books and doesn't know anything other than what Zach kind of tells me, and if you listen to last week's podcast episode, you got a little bit of a background. And even with that little bit of background, I still went in like knowing absolutely nothing in a way. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. The first 3 episodes, I liked it. I thought it was very great world building. It really brought me back to, in that like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Morrowind type of gameplay, in that type of world. To me, and I said this to Zach after watching it, I thought it was better world building than Game of Thrones, because in my mind, like, Game of Thrones is all about the kings and queens, knights, like that type of stuff. With Wheel of Time, you're getting involving magic and like this completely evil side, almost like a Lord of the Rings, which I think is great, and which is why I love the Lord of the Rings series. The 4th episode definitely threw me off. I know a lot of people who commented on our posts, whether it was Instagram or even my Instagram, saying that they loved the Wheel of Time. They were really hooked once they got to episode 4. I thought episode 4 was to me, like, it just,
oh man,
I don't know, like, that's just me, but I love it. I love the series. I think it's great. I'm totally hooked on it. I'm still learning all the names, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and didn't bore me at all. Like, each episode was like 50 minutes, and then that 4th episode was like an hour. So I was just like, I'm like, is this ever going to end? Like, I'm thinking like these are just long episodes, but I was always engaged. I like how all the characters kind of have their own story, and again, I'm a huge like magic fan. So like, obviously being like Justice League Dark, in the comics, I always like those magic type of movies and sorcery. So yeah, I told Zach on the phone, I was just like, man, this really wants me to play Elder Scrolls again.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear that, because like the first 3 episodes, obviously it's different for me because I'm a big fan. I've read the books. I'm actually rereading them right now. So it's also, I'm very, into it. And like, I know the differences from the book and the show and whatnot. And I could see how some people could get a little overwhelmed, and maybe the first 3 episodes didn't come across like great. Cause I even thought maybe some of the downsides to the first 3 episodes were, and this is always going to be the case when you have a ton of characters, was character development and trying to actually get to know the main characters in the first 3 episodes. I liked episode 4 very much, man, when it got to it, and you got just the stuff about Logain and the false dragon. I felt like it kind of started to open up that door and explain some of the mythology and the explanations behind like the Dragon Reborn. You got a little bit more of the Dark One, and even how things work with the Aes Sedai and whatnot. So, yeah, I thought the 4th episode was awesome. I can't wait for the next one. I
Yeah,
think there's gonna be 8
I'm hooked.
episodes.
No,
Yeah,
I'm definitely hooked for it. I loved it. For everyone who's out there who watched it, I guess you would call it like the city of the dead or that evil city.
yeah,
Just
Shadar Logoth.
the cinematography is great. Just the detail to it. I know a lot of it is CGI, but it's still really awesome to see something like that. And I'm sure even like just when they're out in the outlands, just that's them out there in like the wild. And then that's what's great. And even that first, I guess it's the first episode, and I said this to you as well, that with what are they, like the Minotaur, whatever they're called?
The Trollocs, yeah.
Trollocs. When they're not CGI, they look detailed. Like they look menacing, they look fearful. Like it's definitely something that I can get behind. It's almost like like watching Lord of the Rings, like the Hawkeye. So I'm down for this show. For as much as you've been talking about it for the past 6 months, I was just like, I'm probably gonna have to watch it because Zach's gonna want to talk about it. So, but no, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely
Cool.
something that I was excited to watch because there's tons of other stuff on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus that I could be watching that everybody else is talking about, but this show is definitely dope, man. I'm into it.
Yeah, and so I mean, we're not going to go into like all the conversations Justin and I had, but like I was kind of worried if like certain things are being picked up about characters that are going to be important going down the line, and it was good to see that you kind of you were getting them, and I was like, okay, so you didn't miss that, did you? Because to me, it's like, oh, I felt like they didn't highlight certain incidents and things that are very important to these characters moving forward, and maybe it was just like I said, it's to me because I know the book so well.
Sure.
But it was glad that you actually were able. You're like, oh no, I saw that, and I tracked.
Yeah, like
it,
this
so.
was my understanding. Like this is what I thought. So
and I was like, cool, badass, yeah. So
yeah, but yeah, that was my quick little 4-episode review, I guess, or what I thought. I definitely think everyone should check it out on Amazon. Give it. It's every week. Drops on Friday. The first 4 episodes are out. So
yeah,
and it's only gonna be 8 episodes, season 1.
8, yes, and they've already, I think, finished with season 2, like filming.
Nice. Cool.
So cool, man. So what do we want to do next? We got a little comic book. We'll do a little comic book one. So we don't talk obviously as much as probably Justin wishes about DC here as much. It seems like Marvel does dominate the headlines, whether it's because of the movies. It's pretty much mainly because of like the movies and Disney Plus, obviously. So they really dominate. But we do have some DC Comics news here. So not sure what you guys are reading if you're reading DC, but there's obviously a couple great titles out there. The one that kind of tracked me onto this was the Robin series. And I think Justin's reading. Are you reading Deathstroke Incorporated?
No, but I am reading the Robins.
The Robin.
Robin.
Okay. Robin, yeah. So anyway, DC confirms a Shadow War Batman event with the Al Ghul family in 2022. So if you read the recent Robin annual, you saw that there's something kind of brewing in DC universe, concerning Talia Al Ghul, Ra's Al Ghul, and maybe some other Al Ghul individuals. So it's kind of bleeding across both, like I said, the Deathstroke Incorporated, Robin, Batman, and there's a whole Shadow War going to occur. So it's really, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Robin right now, the Robin run, let's talk about that because it's actually really cool. It's almost like a mixture of like Mortal Kombat with, obviously the Al Ghul. So Robin he's on his own, right? So he's done with Batman ever since like the death of Alfred. He's kind of been done with Batman. He's not really even using the title Robin necessarily. He's got a new costume and he is following the, I think it's the League of Lazarus, right?
Yes.
Is that what they're called? Yeah. So, so you got the League of Assassins, you've got the League of Shadows, and now we've got a new one, the League of Lazarus. So basically you got all these characters showing up on this island and it's like Mortal Kombat. They get three lives. It's also like a video game. They get 3 lives that you can die and then you get like resurrected. And then, but if you die on your 3rd one, you're dead. You're dead for realsies. So you got some of the main characters. There's not a lot of known characters. The big ones are obviously Robin. You've got Ravager. And then the other big name, the only other one I really recognized was Connor Hawke, who is still not even big necessarily in the current like DC universe.
And then they introduced that other character, Flatline. She's the girl with like the skull face on,
right?
And you get a little bit of a background and almost origin story of her in the latest Robin annual that got released this week. There's that like Deadpool wannabe.
Yeah, what's his name?
I forget.
He's like a Deathstroke wannabe, right?
He's more of like a Deadpool wannabe.
He does look like Deadpool, but
yeah, he got like introduced in like the Harley Quinn New 52 series, and I was like, whatever. But no, I think Flatline's a cool character. There's a couple of other people in there that are getting introduced in this series, but like you said, the Shadow War, it's something that's coming, I guess. So, with the end of Fear State Alpha, I'm kind of looking forward to this because Ra's al Ghul really hasn't had a main like story arc, especially being like one of Batman's formidable villains, between him and Talia. They had a little bit of a stint in the Rebirth Detective run, which to me wasn't that great, but it did involve Cassandra Cain a little bit into the League of Shadows, which kind of changed up her origin a little bit. But for me, the last real big one was probably even prior to like New 52 was like Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul, which was a great little crossover between like Nightwing and Robin and the Batman detective. So, I mean, that's probably the last time we've really seen Ra's al Ghul like front and center in a Batman story. So this is going to be interesting, being like a three title crossover.
Respawn is his name.
Oh, that's what his name
is.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, stupid name. The other time I saw Ra's al Ghul recently was he was actually the prominent villain in the recent run of Batman and the Outsiders, like 1 through 17. The team with
that's right. He was in the
Black Lightning and all them. And so but you also, and I don't know, you'll have to tell me, I don't know if this was their first appearance, but in Robin, you had Mother Soul introduced, who's actually like Ra's al Ghul's mother. Ra's, is it Ra's or Ra's?
I say Ra's.
Right, and then I think it's Batman Begins really fucked it all up because they call it Ra's al Ghul, and then everywhere else it's like Ra's al Ghul, and but whatever. Anyway, so so you get Mother Soul, who is kind of like in charge of the League of Lazarus, and that's Ra's al Ghul's mom. Has she ever been seen anywhere else before? Do you know?
I don't think so. No, I think the whole Robin thing introduced a lot of characters, and even this League of Lazarus.
Yeah, so that should be cool. I mean, I like how I like these are like, I don't want to say off-brand necessarily, but like smaller titles that probably don't get as much play, as like obviously Batman and Superman and stuff like that, and they have their own little crossover going on. That's cool. And obviously, you do have Batman's going to be crossing over in this. Do we even know who's going to be writing Batman moving forward?
I don't know off the top of my head, and I've probably seen those solicitations.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's going to be interesting. Really, the I guess the third wheel, because it is three titles, is the Deathstroke Inc. And I haven't picked up any of the issues. I know the covers are amazing, like they had Adam Hughes, but that the Deathstroke Inc. having Deathstroke and Black Canary is like a team up that you would really never see.
Right.
So I really need to start picking up that series to just prepare myself for this Shadow War next year. So.
I think you also got to pick up, and I haven't been reading these either, is the Checkmate series, because I think they're very prominent in the Checkmate little mini series right now. The Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Deathstroke as well. So
no, I don't know. I know of that series, I just haven't read it. So
yeah, same. But so cool. I mean, that's something to look forward to. A little fun. It's probably be a small little crossover. Like, I like the small crossovers, man. Like, we don't got to do 10, 15 issues, man. Like, one issue per title, and then maybe you have an alpha and an omega, like something like that. It's like perfect. Like 5-6 issue little crossover. Boom. Bet.
Yeah, and it's good that it's not like tie-ins. It's the actual like part 1, part 2, instead of it just being like all Batman, like part 1 through 6, and then it's like you have to buy like the tie-ins where it would be like Harley Quinn and Catwoman, which is that Fear State stuff. But with this, it's the 3 titles, and it's going to be, each issue is going to be like the next part in the series. So
exactly,
you're going to want to pick up those titles for when it starts in February.
Dude, there was nothing worse than like back in the day with Marvel when I used to collect like every book, right? And then, like, for example, the worst one was Secret Wars. When Secret Wars came out, like the newer one, and it was like all these fucking tie-ins, dude. And like, I ended up buying all of them. So they were so shitty, dude. Like, horrible little 5-issue mini series or something, or even Secret Invasion had like horrible ones. Like, I don't know if you were reading these at the time, but you followed the family of scrolls that like turned into cows. Oh my god, dude!
Yeah,
It was
Marvel knows how to like milk.
horrible.
They know how to milk their side projects. Like I
Yeah,
definitely see that a lot more. I mean, what was it? Like Absolute Carnage had like a ton of little side issues that you needed to pick up. King in
yeah.
Black, like
Mm-hmm.
you're just like you just can't do it. Everybody who's out there reading, like I get it. Like you want to read the title, you want to know the storyline, but at the same time, like, do you really need to be picking up all these little side things? It's just like extra money, unless it's like a character that doesn't have a title.
Right.
Like I get it. Like when they did what was it, King in Black, and they did the Gwenom versus Carnage run, and for me being a Gwen Stacy Spider Gwen fan, like obviously yes, I had to buy those 3 issues, but like at the same time, like you didn't need to read them. You don't need to read. Like didn't they do like a Heroes for Hire or Defenders like
Yeah, and
issue, like one shot maybe, or like a 3 issue mini?
yeah, dude. And then like Marvel will always bring in like characters that haven't had a run in forever. Like you'll out of nowhere you'll have Howard the Duck like 1 through 5, and like Jesus Christ, dude. Like I'm not picking up Howard the Duck 1 through 5 for like just because he's operating in the same world as Secret Invasion or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, they did some weird one shots for a lot of these titles, and so pick up. Definitely check out your DC fan. We definitely going to recommend. We'll be talking about this in February. So let's kind of move on to the next article. Keeping out of the comics realm, moving into some movie stuff. This one's posted over on CBR.com. You got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel footage will arrive soon. So, of course, coming out next year, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 is set to debut sometime next year. But the first footage, according to producer Amy Pascal, will be very soon, as quoted in an interview with Fandango. She says that it's going to be fantastic, and the first footage she'll be debuting sometime very soon. Unfortunately for fans hoping to circle a date their calendars, Pascal didn't provide any further details on when our first look at Spider-Verse sequel is expected to drop, or that footage to be leaked or shown. I don't know, man. I'm thinking we're December 1st. We're 2 weeks away from Spider-Man. I'm thinking we're getting a teaser in 2 weeks.
We're Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
They should not do anything and then have it in the previews for the movie.
Oh, I agree.
Like,
I think that's
like when's the last time something like that happened? Like that shit was cool,
Yeah,
Before
I remember
obviously
going to the movies.
Yeah, like before like the YouTube and stuff like that, you actually could only see really trailers at the theaters. You know what I mean? And it was like with the comic book movies, it kind of was like, okay, well, we're for sure going to get a comic book trailer that we haven't seen yet. So, man, that would be cool.
Especially like when you went to IMAX movies.
Yeah.
Like, go to see this movie in IMAX is the only way you'll be able to see X trailer. And that's literally what you had to do. I remember it was like, go see if it was either Transformers or Mission Impossible to see the vice versa trailer of that movie. Like I remember, or, whatever it was, and that's what it is nowadays. It's already on YouTube. It's on some website. So it's like, what's the point of dropping it there? But I really think that's the way they should drop it. They should definitely drop a teaser for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, or you mean for Into the nothing other than, of course, that Haley Steinfeld is coming back as Gwen Stacy. We have Shamlique Moore coming back as Miles Morales. And then we reported this earlier this year that Issa Rae is playing Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. So, we're getting some stuff. There's even some teasers. They're saying that Cindy Moon may show up, and then the Japanese Spider-Man from the 70s TV show is possibly also showing up. But at least we have the confirmations that Spider-Woman, Gwen Stacy, and Miles will be in it for sure.
Cool. I was actually, pleasantly surprised with Into the Spider-Verse. Like I didn't really go into it with any high hopes, never not being like a massive Spider-Man fan. I was like, okay.
Jeez, how many times have you said that on the podcast?
I know, right? I just got to make sure everyone knows my hate for Spider-Man. But yeah, but I really enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse. It was funny. It was fun. I wasn't totally crazy about the animation. Like that was kind of like, some of the animation was a little off-putting for me.
Agreed.
I should watch it again. Where can you watch that at right now?
I think it's on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. Yeah. because they still have the rights to a lot of that Sony stuff, and even all that the Marvel stuff, similar to like what the Netflix series has. Why you couldn't watch any of that stuff on Disney Plus. But yeah, I think it's still on, because I think I still see it on my watch list of stuff for Netflix. So
yeah, I should watch it again. I think I've only seen it that one time.
oh wow, that's a while. I constantly watch it every random time. It's either on FX or I'll just put it on Netflix. So
I can't watch movies on FX, dude. It's every 5 minutes there's a commercial. It's time consuming. It turns like a 2-hour movie into 3.5 hours because of the fucking commercials, dude. I can't do it. If I see a movie on FX movies, I'm like, well, I won't watch it here. I'd rather purchase it on like Amazon Prime. I just can't do it, dude. It's too much. As it starts getting good, they'll cut to like a commercial and I'll lose my shit. So,
jeez.
But
anyway. Speaking of Spider-Man, what do we got next?
So, in case you guys didn't know, there's a movie coming out here in 17 days, right? 17 days. And Spider-Man No Way Home. So, tickets just went on sale. When was that, Justin? Monday?
The 29th.
Yeah, Monday, right? Yeah, so tickets went on sale Monday for that. And I think it's still wild in 2021 that on sale tickets are just like, that the tickets went that fast. And we're not even talking just on sale. There was a lot of people lining up at theaters. I saw here in El Paso a local reporting of like people in line back around the building trying to buy No Way Home tickets. And I remember seeing that and I was like, oh shit, do I need to buy my tickets? So I go online, I find the movie theater I usually look at, it's Thursday. None of the 6, 7 p.m. showings, the ones I, typically like, were all sold out except for like random one seats here and there. And, I got to take the wife. So couldn't buy tickets to that. Look at Friday, same kind of situation. And then I find 3 p.m. on Thursday. So I was like, hey, what's your schedule like on Thursday? And she says, no, I'm kind of free. And I was like, cool. Well, then I'm taking a half day and we're going to see Spider-Man at 3 p.m. on Thursday. So, but man, tickets sold out. And I know you also had a little hard time getting tickets, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. A friend, Fletcher Fox, he messaged me on Monday night, and I didn't really think about it too much. He's like, "Oh, do you go to AMC or Cinemarks?" And I was like, "Well, I usually go to Cinemarks because there's one closer to me. I like the AMCs, but they're kind of trashy, I guess, in my neck of the woods." But and I didn't think about it and that's all the way the conversation was. So like the tickets went on sale, and I completely forgot. And then I woke up Tuesday morning. And I saw, like, I was on Instagram, it was early, and I was like, oh, I saw the memes and like the things. And I was like, oh yeah, tickets went on sale. And I completely forgot. So I'm literally laying in bed. It's probably about 7:00. And I go and I purchase my ticket, but it's got my credit card information saved and it's asking for the security code. And I was just like, I was like, I don't have my wallet. I was like, I'm not getting up. So I waited literally an hour. And within an hour, the same theater, ticket time, everything, like 75% of the theater was like sold. And I'm like, it's 7 a.m. Like, there's no way this just happened. So I'm in the same boat with Zach. Typically I would see a movie like Thursday night, like 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the latest. But yeah, all of a sudden they did this Thursday at 3 o'clock. And I was just like, yo, that's perfect. We are going at 3 o'clock on a Thursday, which that means that both Zach and I will be done. And if we record the podcast on that Thursday, we probably will be talking about it, but we will keep it 100% spoiler free. Or we'll just do one of our reviews. I don't know, man. I guess we're gonna have.
It's gonna be hard.
Well, maybe what we'll do is like we'll record the episode, and then as soon as we get done, we'll record a review and then drop that like a couple days later. Because there's no way that we don't want to talk about it because we're going to be seeing it so early. So
yeah, and that was why I had to get tickets to this like early, because I mean everyone knows there's going to be. You're not going to be. There's a high probability we're going to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, right? High probability.
Don't say.
Yeah, right. So you don't want to be the guy. Even Saturday, I was looking at tickets on Saturday, and I was like, oh my god, dude! By Saturday, all the group chats I'm in Instagram and like on Facebook and whatever, it's going to be ruined, bro. Like, everyone's going to be talking about it. People are already going to say it. Like, I don't want to have to avoid social media for 2 or 3 days to, avoid like that kind of shit. So, because dude, day one, as soon as they show up on the screen, everyone's going to be like, I knew it, but I called it. All these assholes are going to be out there saying they called it the first one, but
And it's
So yeah,
even coming out, I think, a day early or 2 days early in like the UK. So we are screwed. Like at the end of
oh
the, we're
yeah,
screwed. Like it's going to be all over the internet. People that have Instagram and YouTube in Europe is easily going to see it. People are going to find it. They're going to post all this stuff. So it's like I'm pretty much going to have to avoid social media from like Tuesday to Thursday until I go see it
hey,
because it happens. And speaking of how you were saying, and kind of the reason why we brought up this article is we're in a group chat. Zach and I are in a group chat together. And down in Mexico, people were waiting online
mhm.
to get tickets for Spider-Man, and a brawl broke out. And Zach and I had this conversation the other day of how, after we bought our tickets, that anybody for you, everyone out there listening, do you remember the days where you actually had to go to your theater and buy tickets, and
Right.
then you had to get to the theater way early just
Yep.
to get a good seat? And if you had a lot of people, you're definitely getting there like super early. Like back in like the 2000 to 2010s when I was in college, we would go to the movies like 12 people deep. And this is still my all-time favorite story. This is something that I'll always remember. When the Transformers first movie came out, the Michael Bay movie, I was like, we got there 2 hours early. We had we definitely had about a dozen people. We had the entire back row of this movie theater, like from left side to right side. Everybody had a spot. We all sat together. I sat dead center because I was like, everybody shut the hell up. I was like, I'm watching this and enjoying this movie. But to think about it, like that's how it was back in the day. And it's
Yeah.
like if you went with like 8 people and you're like, well, I can only get 4 people in this row, and then 2 people got to sit way up top, up front, and like like it's crazy to think like back in the day, like you had to really show up early for movies. Now people show up like 25 minutes later and the freaking trailers are still going on.
Right. Yeah, and I think I was saying this to you when we had this conversation. It's funny because it's not even like the technology is different today than really it was back then. Like, dude, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, internet and apps and shit like that have developed way more since like the early 2000s to now. But
Mhm.
it's not like assigned seats were something that like just got invented within the past 5 years. Like, why did we not have assigned seats always in the movie theaters? Like, if you showed up, you bought your ticket and you chose your seat. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why that was never something that happened. And I do remember though when they started to do that, that it kind of was annoying. I remember being like, "Ugh, I gotta like pick my seat. I don't know when I want to sit," you know. But now I love it because now I'm like, dude, I know where I'm sitting. I just show up and I get there.
Yeah.
I don't got to worry about saving enough seats for everyone else, or if I'm gonna get a seat, I don't want to have to wait and you would show up, wait in line to get in there, and then you'd wait in the other line right outside the theater, right?
Yeah.
So like, dude, that shit was a nightmare back in the day.
I just think I guess the hardest thing is for older people who don't know like technology, like us, like
Mhm.
trying to like buy tickets. It's like they show up to the movie, or I guess they remember back in the day, you used to call up like your local
Yeah,
movie theater
yeah,
to like
dude.
listen to every
The
movie that was like
times,
coming out
yeah,
in the times,
yep.
and you're just like, no way, this is really gonna happen. So ugh, it's so much. It's so funny to think like how times have changed in the past like 15 years, but yet the movie theaters haven't changed in a way.
Right,
Like how hard was it just to etch like row 15, seat 1
right,
through
right,
15, like
exactly.
on the seats?
Hey, speaking of, this is kind of no offense to our UK listeners if we have any out there, but it's kind of fucked up. The UK gets this movie like days before we do. It's not like we get James Bond movies like days before the UK. Like
Mhm.
it's a American property, and that's
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, I don't know why it's just not like a worldwide release. Like video games do that every now and then too, like where you know uh the Asian market gets the game, and then like a month later we get it, or then the UK gets
right.
it, and sometimes it's like worldwide release. Like, why isn't movies like this just a worldwide release? Like, what are they expecting? Like, they're just hurting themselves. Like, you're ruining it for other
Mhm.
people, especially like people like us who are gonna watch the movie because now it's like, yeah, now I have to stay off of social media, and even like the news. The news is gonna break this stuff. Like,
Right.
Tobey Maguire comes back as Spider-Man. Oh, I just spoiled it for everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's totally gonna be an article that's just like well, that movie came out in what, like 2001? So like 20 years later, Toby Maguire, you know,
Yeah.
is back again as Spider-Man. Yeah, for sure that's going to be out there. So
Yeah.
if it happens, right? If it happens.
Listen, we talked about this. If anybody out there listening still thinks that the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not showing up in this movie, and the lizard is getting punched by air from the trailers and the stuff that we've seen, and it's just, come on. Like, I get it. We're all going to be really giddy. We talked about this like a week ago. We're all going to be really giddy when it happens because we're all we're all wanting to see them on screens. Like, oh my God, it's 3 Spider-Man. But if you don't know by now, come on. Like,
Right.
really?
Look, if they don't show up, then I expect that scene where Spider-Man is flying through the air against Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard. I expect Spider-Man to die at the end of that movie. Like, there's
I
no way.
expect it to be 3 Tom Hollands.
I expect him to be murdered, and the end of the movie is the death of Spider-Man right there, because there's no way Spider-Man's winning against the 3 of them by himself.
Yeah.
So
So
cool, man. Well, Spider-Man, 2 more weeks, man. We're right there.
yeah, it's
we're
crazy.
literally
Time
right
is just
there.
flying.
Yeah.
So let's get on to our last topic of the evening. And anybody who we talked about this a little bit last week. So of course, there's 6 episodes of Hawkeye. We've seen the first 3 episodes, so this is going to definitely be a spoiler mid-season, because that's crazy that we're already talking mid-season for
Right.
6 episodes. But first 2 episodes dropped the day before Thanksgiving, and the latest episode just dropped today on December 1st. Thoughts and spoilers ahead for Hawkeye. So this is your last chance, and if not, skip on over to the next part where, of course, we talk about what are we currently reading. So let's dive right into Hawkeye episode 1, 2, and 3 on Disney Plus. Zach, what do you think?
So 2 things. When we're done giving our thoughts on Hawkeye, I then want to do because you said something to me on a text earlier today. I want to rank the Disney Plus series as what we've seen so far once we're done kind of talking about Hawkeye. So keep that in mind.
Mhm.
First thoughts, honestly, without diving deep into it, because I know you got a lot to say and we're going to keep talking for a little bit. First thoughts were, this is fun. It's a fun show. And I remember I said it again today, because obviously I binged the first 2 right in a row. And then the third one came out today. And I remember turning to my wife and saying, I love the dynamic between these 2. It's just fun. I feel like they play off each other well. I don't feel like it's forced, obviously that's what you want. And that's what the script is written for, is to be this buddy cop kind of dynamic going on.
Mhm.
And sometimes that falls flat. You've seen movies like that in the past where not even talking about just comic book movies, but the dynamic doesn't work. But bro, it feels like this isn't even written. It feels almost like they're ad-libbing shit at times. It just seems so natural, the 2 of them together. And I think my right out the gate quick opinion is, it is fun. It is fun show. And I love how it has the Christmas theme to it. I think it's just fucking fun, dude. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Same thing. I absolutely love this series. This is a series that once it's over and done with, I will definitely sit down and watch it for whatever 5-6 hours that it's going to be, and I'll enjoy it. It doesn't matter what episode I'm really watching. I think every episode so far has, definitely had its highs. There's so many little Easter eggs, and just the cinematography, the fighting, the acting. Jeremy Renner didn't get his dues in the last couple movies, but he's brought right up front. Haley Steinfeld is great as Kate Bishop. Her origin story has changed a little bit to fit the MCU, which is fine.
Yeah.
But this is a great series. I'm in the same boat with you. I absolutely love the first 3 episodes. Not diving into anything other than saying that. So we'll kind of deep dive into the episodes themselves. First and foremost, of course, the Haley Steinfeld, her actress as Kate Bishop is just the origin is a completely different story than we know from the good old Matt Fraction and Kelly Thompson run. Her seeing Hawkeye at the Battle of New York, which brings it back. It brings it full circle,
Right.
and that's really what's awesome. We see an older Clint Barton and his family, which is again a dynamic that we haven't seen in a while, and that's always fun to see those characters be, something that the other characters don't have. Like Tony didn't really have a family. Thor had a messed up family for all intensive purposes. Black Widow didn't have a family until this year, and you finally got to see what it was like for her growing up. But
yeah, but
Clint's
Hawkeye
always
has
had
the
that.
most nuclear family in the MCU. Yeah, the wife and the kids, they know who he is. They're like, there's no, it's so great too, because it's not like the typical shit you get in stories too, where the wife's like, oh, please retire, don't do that. She's just like, yo, do what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like there's no drama with their relationship as to like his job and his career. There's no back and forth, like annoying, like, oh my God, get out of it. Don't be an Avenger. She's just like, okay, I guess you're gonna go shoot arrows at people. Like,
yeah, it's funny that she like
universe.
even like the conversations that they have in I guess it's the second episode maybe, and even in this third episode, the way they talk is like she understands like his job.
Right.
Like she's like, okay, honey, like not even like a kiss, like, oh, go have fun, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, cool. Well, she's probably just happy that it's not like Thanos and End Worlders. It's just like the tracksuit mafia.
Yeah.
But like I also love how, the two things, kind of what you were talking about, and then about how, the origin change of Kate Bishop and tying it into the Battle of New York, and the MCU, really grounding it there. And then we also have it grounded in terms of, it's very strong about like the repercussions of when Hawkeye was Ronin, when Clint Barton was Ronin. Like, I mean, that's really the vehicle that's moving this show so far right now, is his time as Ronin is affecting what's currently happening. So, Kate gets the Ronin costume, puts it on, and it just shitstorm ensues, right? And so we're also getting like the feelings that Clint has about the loss of Natasha, and also you can tell there's regret in what he did in his time as Ronin. And then this episode with Echo, like her origin story tied in with Ronin, is awesome. It's just so good, and it's pretty like accurate to her comic book origin too. Like, for many people don't know, like she was a villain initially. It's kind of like on the wrong side of the law, kind of operating that way, which is good, and I think we're too used to following these tropes of just straight good and straight bad. You have characters and you have life where that's not really how it is. Things aren't Captain America and Red Skull. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably like the most recognizable good and evil in comic books or in the MCU that we've had. So things are very much in the middle. And even I loved how Echo's dad, like, he's so great with her being deaf and supporting her and whatnot. And then you find out, this guy's kind of a bit of a scumbag on the side. He's like doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, of course.
But you're also like, oh, but he's still a good dad. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You're kind of like, oh shit, this is like really sad. But yeah, he probably deserved to die. He's kind of a piece of shit. So.
Oh, I'm sure we'll learn, I guess, in time, But I really thought the fact that they actually gave you a backstory of Echo, which is something that I feel like they really didn't do. They don't really do with like villains, like in any of these series that they've done on Disney Plus. It's always just been like, here they are, move forward. It's never been like, we are going to give you some type of origin. And it was a pretty long origin.
Right. Like why they're the way they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she was pretty badass. She's got her, you see what she's capable of.
Yeah. This episode was great in terms of, I was thinking about this when you were talking, like we're getting more focus on Clint Barton, but we really didn't get to see much of him fighting in episodes 1 and 2, and definitely not with his bow. And then this episode, man, that little fight scene in the KB toy store, which was awesome too, seeing a KB toy store. Him fighting there with the arrows and stuff, that was badass. You know what I mean? Like just seeing him being Hawkeye. And then even going up against Echo, and she's badass too. Now there was a little bit of a change in story with her, right? Like in the comics, she's not missing a leg.
Yeah, I didn't know. I couldn't understand that either. Like I
wonder
saw
why
that
they
too.
did that. Like, I wonder what the point of that is. I mean, because it's fine, it's no big deal, but like, I mean, why change that? I mean, she's already deaf. Why make her that way too? Why make her you call it not paraplegic, but like an amputee? She's missing her leg at some point, like somewhere on her leg. I guess we don't really even know how high up it goes.
I don't know. I guess you really don't know, you don't see that, because even like when they showed off images of her, like behind the scenes stuff, she was always wearing jeans, and like you didn't notice that. So
the actress Alakwa Cox, I believe is how you pronounce her name. So she's deaf in real life.
Correct.
But I don't think she is. Oh, she is. That's it. She is also an amputee with a prosthetic leg. So that's why they went that route.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that makes more sense. I mean, it's fine. You know what I mean? I remember seeing it on the show, and I was like, "Wait, what? Like, is she missing a leg in the comics? I don't remember that going on." So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but dude, she crushed it. Like, Alakwa Cox was great, man, and obviously she does even more like badass, and is like they are impressed with her as an actress because they already greenlit her own show. So, you know, this isn't even like the idea of her getting her own show because fans clamored for it and loved her
Mm-hmm.
character so much. They already out the gate were like, yo, we're doing a show with just her. So
Yeah, so I guess she's gonna be a big part of the last couple episodes because
yeah,
the fact that you bringing her right to center stage and you're giving her another series, so she's definitely gonna be the main kind of antagonist. I think maybe like the final villain will be Swords Master because of course his book has been shooting up. So
so that's what you
um,
think that's your belief is that Swordmaster is going to end up being a bad guy.
I think it's gonna come down to that. I think
S-
that's gonna have to be.
See, I'm thinking, man, I'm thinking it's the mom because I think that also tracks with the comics as well. Like Kate Bishop's mom's kind of a bad guy in the comics, and I think it's too obvious right now that it's Swordmaster. I
Mhm.
think we're going to see a little like switcherooski at the end, and it's going to actually be the mom that ended up like killing that dude's Swordmaster's uncle. Like,
Hmm.
I think it seems too perfect that it's going to be Swordmaster.
Or they're
So,
both in on it, maybe.
or maybe they're both in on it. Yeah, could
Yeah.
be. But we
Do we
did
want to get
have
into the tease though?
hell yeah, we want to get into the tease. Go
Now, did
for it.
you see this when I sent it to you?
Yeah, I'd
Did you
already
know
seen the show. Yeah,
okay, so you know the show.
yeah,
Now, did you know what part and what I'm talking about?
I think so. You talking about like in her backstory?
No. Yeah. The backstory,
Yeah.
the tease of the cameo of the
Yes.
character.
Yeah. And it even
Okay.
sounded like him.
Yes, it did.
Even my
So,
wife said that. Yeah.
okay. So everybody who's listening, who's still listening, you make sure you've seen this, and now you will go back and watch this episode again because we're definitely spoiling it for you. Kingpin is in this episode, and people
Mhm.
are like, "Now, wow, where is he? I didn't see him." And you're probably right. You really don't see him, but he is there. So the part where Echo is a little girl and she's in the dojo and she's about ready to do her first match, her father says, "I'm leaving, and your uncle will pick you up later." Now, there's a gentleman in a black suit that is right behind him that goes to shake her hand and then kind of laughs.
And he's got like a
And that
little like nice ring on his finger too.
I don't know if you actually see the ring, but
Yeah.
he definitely has like the stature of Kingpin.
Right.
And what's the actor's name?
It's
Vincent
Vincent
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. Yeah.
Yeah, and the little chuckle, it's
Hmm.
definitely him.
I think
So
so too, man. So people, you're saying people didn't really pick up on that? I mean, obviously
no,
we were like super fans, but like I knew it right out the gate. Like as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, that's fucking. As soon as
no,
it said uncle,
like I didn't get it in the beginning, but then when I rewatched it, because I watched it on my phone, but then when I rewatched it, it made more sense. I was just like, oh, like that. I feel like that's something, and I heard it better. That's what it was. Like when I first listened to it,
gotcha.
I didn't really hear it, but then when I heard it again, and I was like really paying attention because the first time I was watching it, I was on my phone, and then I watched it on my phone again, but I watched it more like clearly because I typically wake up in the morning and literally watching it in bed with like one bloodshot eye, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, just so I don't get the everybody spoils me for everything, between all our group chats that
Right.
whether I'm in one with you and other people, and just like I don't want to be bothered, like don't say anything. So, but yeah, so Kingpin is part now of the MCU, which is mind blown. Let's see how many of Amazing Spider-Man 50s get sold this week.
Yeah, man. I hope it's I hope it's D'Onofrio. I hope it plays out that way. It's set up perfectly. It seems that way. Now, dude, we're 3 episodes in, right? And we just got a
Mm-hmm.
teaser of Kingpin. We still have 3 more episodes left. We have not even seen Yelena Belova yet, and she's coming.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. Like we haven't even seen her yet, and she's showing up in the show also. So I can't wait. I mean, when is she going to show up? Like I don't. I hate it when they bring them like the end of the episode. Like I love it if she shows up in episode 4. We get her 4, 5, and 6. You know what I mean? Like we get more with her. But yeah, she's going to be coming here soon too. So I mean, this show it's great, dude. So let's talk. Let's rank let's start with worst to best. And you go first. Let's go worst to best Disney Plus shows. So the Disney Plus shows we've had so far, we got WandaVision, Captain American Falcon, Loki, and Hawkeye, right? And we're going to skip the animated stuff.
Okay.
Just the live action, right?
That
Those are the only 4, right?
Yeah, we'll go with those 4.
Okay.
So yeah. Well, I guess we can only really go first through. Let's go like first half seasons, I guess, because you really can't base like your thoughts on 3 episodes of Hawkeye to like a full season of Loki yet, right? Is that kind of where you're going?
No, I think you can.
Okay,
do
so
it.
you're fine.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go. Of course, right now, Hawkeye beats all of them right now. Hawkeye is definitely my favorite. The next would have to be. Oh God, this is so tough because they all suck after this, in my opinion.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I don't. I guess Loki, just for like all the Easter eggs and just things that happened to me. Like I just like Tom Hiddleston. I think the comedy in that with Owen Wilson puts that at number 2. Falcon Winter Soldier and then WandaVision. So literally, it's like the way they came out, just the reverse order. Because I absolutely can't stand WandaVision unless you watch like the final episode and a half, I guess, really.
Yeah, okay.
So where are you at? I'm sure you're literally the same boat.
I'm
right?
literally the same.
So this is like a terrible comparison.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's... So look, I mean, I'll break it down a little bit more. So WandaVision, yes. The first 2 or 3 episodes of WandaVision were just... I don't even know how I could watch those again. Like, there is literally, if you've seen all the episodes of WandaVision, I don't know why you would need to watch those first 3 episodes. Like, nothing happened in it. Like, the best thing from WandaVision, in my opinion, was the Monica Rambeau stuff. And Agatha Harkness. Like, those were the big takeaways from that show, in my opinion. The Captain America Falcon, loved it, thought it was great. Very Captain America Winter Soldier, obviously, like the racial injustice stuff kind of wore on me a little bit after a while. But it was good. I still liked it. I love Falcon and I love Bucky. He's one of my favorite of all times. Loki, definitely, yeah. I think is really good because of not necessarily. I kind of disagree with you on the Hiddleston part. Don't get me wrong. He's great, but I think I'm kind of like numb to him because you've seen him be great for so long. It's like unless he was like really shitty, I don't track it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I expect him to be great, but like, I thought Owen Wilson was awesome in that show. Like, he doesn't even play anyone of importance. He just plays a dude. And I kind of thought he like stole the show. And then obviously the implications that Loki provided with Kang and the way things are going to go make it super important. But this one for sure, I mean, unless they totally, like you said, unless they bomb the last 3 episodes, the rewatchability on this show seems light years ahead of the rest of them. So,
but I also think it's because it's literally taken from like the Matt Fraction run.
Right. It's grounded in actual literature. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the issue with like the last 3 series. Like, yeah, the WandaVision is like somewhat of like Vision because he has a house, but he has his own family. It's not Wanda and Vision. It's just Vision's family.
It's parts of a couple different stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what makes this great is because that's where they're taking it from directly, unlike those other shows.
It also has like I kind of mentioned earlier about the Christmas feel. Like to me, it also has that
it's coming out at the perfect time too.
Like
that's
planes, trains, and automobiles. It's like all this shit's going on, but at the end of the day, Clint's got to get home for Christmas. It's still got this like goal at the end of like, hey, I got to do all this shit and I have to make it home for Christmas, which was like the premise of every Christmas movie or holiday movie when we were growing up, right? Like, hijinks will ensue, but I got to get home for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. So it's cool. It's grounded, man. Like it's grounded in. Which I don't know, some people don't, maybe characters like Hawkeye, both the Hawkeyes and these like non-powered type characters aren't as interesting as like a Loki show or a WandaVision show. But I like it. Like, I think it shows the aspect of the MCU that you've got these, I mean, dude, Clint Barton, he's a street level character. He is. Yep. I mean, he's mainstream Avengers. He's, he fights against Thanos and everyone else, but in his heart and his soul, he is a street level character. So I think it's great, and I really, really am enjoying it, man. So just bring me to Kingpin. Now you got to show the Kingpin. Now, honestly, if it goes and we don't get D'Onofrio or someone as the Kingpin, or even the words the Kingpin, I'm gonna
Mhm.
be disappointed. So
Okay.
cool, man. So that's what we got for Hawkeye, Disney Plus 1 through 3. We'll do another one when the show ends. We'll talk about our final thoughts on it and rehash what we just kind of talked about. So, as always, we are going to close out this episode with what we are currently reading. Kind of had a light week last week, so you might hear some like old books. And I know Justin's got 2. Why don't you go ahead and start off?
Yeah, so I got 2 books this week. First one really is more of a honorable mention, but I think it's going to have long-term implications. This week we saw the one shot of the death of Doctor Strange, White Fox. Did you read this?
No, I know
Oh,
about this issue. I think I've only read the first Death of Doctor Strange. I'm kind of waiting. I'm going to read the whole run though.
so yeah, this again, we talked about this earlier of like Marvel having all these spin-offs
Yeah.
or tie-ins for these books. So this issue is really, it's actually really good. So it's got White Fox, of course, the main character, and then you also have her with Swordmaster. So it involves like another one of White Fox's type of characters, the Kamhui, which is like the nine-tailed
Mhm.
foxes. So they see one and they think it's another one of her, even though that she says that she's the last one. So she ends up going with Swordmaster, and you see a lot of the other agents of Atlas in there, and but they're kind of just like minor characters. But the storyline really revolves around Swordmaster and her and tracking down this creature or thing that says it's the last Kamuha. And you get a little bit more of a nice little origin of White Fox, which is interesting, and you get a little bit of kind of like a rehash of Swordmaster's origin, which is from his mini series, or I guess limited series that ended like 12 issues ago. But spoiler alert, and this is really going to fall in at the end of the issue. Swordmaster fighting this creature, his sword breaks, and he kind of like falls off. He falls off like this ledge into like water, and White Fox is like, "Oh, I couldn't find him. He's gone, but I think I'm gonna find him." Like
Mhm.
basically, like I'll come search for him. So, with that being said, we all know that we've seen the Iron Fist No More
Mhm.
storyline, and we've seen broken shards of his sword. So, does this mean that he really is going to be the next Iron Fist when he shows back up?
Yeah, it's kind of leaning that way, right? And we
Yeah.
kind of talked about that a couple episodes ago, the Iron
Yep.
Fist No More. So it'll be interesting to see, man. Yeah, I saw something about that issue. And I wanted to read this The Death of Doctor Strange. I just hadn't got around to it. So
Yeah. So that's that's what I'm currently reading this week as far as my honorable mention. So I definitely think this is a perfect leadway into what's going to be happening in the Iron Fist for Swordmaster. Do I think it's going to be him? I think this is a perfect segue for him going to be the next Iron Fist. But my other book in the series that I am currently reading, and I kind of went back because I recently picked these up at a local comic show. They were like $1 a piece. They had the Han Solo series 1 to 5 back, I guess, in 2016, 2017 when Marvel first took over all the Star Wars stuff.
is this
They
the
did a couple of
Imperial
these.
Cadet?
No, this is just the Han Solo. So they did
Okay.
like they did the Princess Leia. Well, the first 3 stories was Star Wars, Darth Vader, and then they did Leia, which was 5 issues. But then eventually they just did Han Solo and they did Chewbacca. But the Han Solo one is actually really interesting, and I read it. And the main thing that kind of brings me to this is Mark Brooks doing the interior art. Mark Brooks is known as a great cover artist, but not really known for doing a lot of interiors. So when he did the interiors of like all these issues, it's like completely different than, kind of what you're used to seeing because he just doesn't do interiors a lot. So it's an interesting read. It's 5 issues. It's kind of like, what if Anakin Skywalker in pod racing was Han Solo in space in like a space race, but then there's also like a murder mystery involved as well. So,
Mhm.
and that goes throughout all 5 issues, and you kind of find out like who killed who, and there's definitely some first appearances, and they're people that I don't think have any credibility, but you never know. But
Cool.
that's what I'm currently reading. What about you, Zach? What are you currently reading?
So I got 2 books. One of them, it's funny because I think you picked it as your garbage book last week. So I actually read finally got around to reading Hulk #1, and I actually really enjoyed it with Donny Cates. So I agreed with you, and you and I had a little conversation like texting about it. And so if you haven't read the new Hulk, it's this idea kind of, they explain it like Bruce Banner is using the Hulk's body as like a starship, I guess is how they describe it, which is kind of weird, but okay. So basically Banner is inside the Hulk's body controlling the Hulk, that way. I didn't really, I don't know. The whole starship analogy was kind of weird. Like I get you with that. That was kind of whack. But I don't really. I feel like they could have explained that better. But what I really liked about it was we're seeing actual like Bruce Banner for once. I feel like with the Hulk, it's always Banner can't control the Hulk. The Hulk does bad things, smashes, and people get pissed, right? And so what? And then rinse and repeat is pretty much the Hulk story since it came out. And what has never tracked for me is Bruce Banner is always one of the smartest human beings in the Marvel universe. So like, when's he gonna fucking figure this shit out? Like, it's the same with Spider. It's the same thing that kind of pisses me off with Spider-Man. Like, why is he a loser all of his life? Like, I don't get it, dude. Like, at some point, figure this shit out, bro. And so what I kind of liked about this Hulk run is Bruce is done with it, man. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, he pretty much says, I'm in control now, and I'm going to control the Hulk. He's got him behind like this, this is all kind of like a metaphysical type situation where the Hulk's behind a wall and he's like shooting him with lasers to piss him off, which makes him angry, which then they channel, and then the Hulk's body's stronger, right? So but Bruce is like, I'm done with all of you. He tells like Tony and all them and the Avengers, like he beats up Tony big time, and he's going to do his own thing. He said, no more space. And I love how it kind of like went back to the different things they've done. He's like, there's no more spaceships to launch me away in. There's no more of these things you got to do, like past things that they've done to the Hulk to try to like rein him in and whatnot. So I really liked it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. The visual, like how he kind of looks like a cyborg, is pretty stupid looking.
Yeah, that's why I really didn't like this issue. And
and I get that.
The
for sure.
space RoboCop looking.
Yeah, it's weird. And I didn't get the whole, and honestly, it kind of took me a little while to like grasp it, but the whole like, oh, it's a starship. But I felt like that made it more confusing because it's not a starship. It's just like an analogy. It's like the idea of like, hey, he's riding him like a starship, I guess.
It really doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense. Like, it made it more confusing for sure. But
yeah,
I enjoyed it. And then my pick of the week kind of for this week was the latest issue of Daredevil. So Daredevil 36, the last issue from the Chip Zdarsky run, which has been amazing. Great Daredevil run, man. Just really grounded, awesome storytelling. Daredevil going to jail, tons of great side stories. Like, I mean, it hasn't even branched out from 4 characters throughout the whole 36 issues. It's Spider-Man. It's Daredevil, Kingpin, the local like mob, and Elektra. And then like just a little bit of sprinkling of, his Mike Murdoch, which is super, confusing, convoluted, like his brother who exists now. And then like this new son of the Kingpin. You also have Typhoid Mary. But I thought it was really cool how in 36 issues, it really was just one story the whole time. Like it didn't really branch off and go down all these different arcs necessarily. I mean, they were kind of little arcs, but it all was the same thing. Like him going to jail. And I mean, right out the gate, he kills someone like in issue 1 or 2 accidentally. And then that kind of like sets the tone. So Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil, not sure I'm going to say it's like groundbreaking or even like the best that's ever been written. I do think it is one of the best. He didn't change anything about Daredevil to necessarily say like, it's not like what Donny Cates did with Venom by any means, but it is an amazing run. And it's leading up into the new event that he is going to be writing, the Dark Reign. I believe it's called Dark Reign. Is it? Do you know? Is that right?
Yeah.
Dark Reign.
Yeah.
But they already did like a Dark Reign storyline. Remember that shit?
Yeah, I think it's.
It's still Dark Reign.
I
feel like I'm getting that wrong, but anyway, a new storyline coming out, and it's gonna be focusing on Kingpin and Daredevil. Devil's Reign. That's right.
Yeah.
There we go. Makes more sense. So he also is having I think a 5-part series about Elektra as Daredevil as well. So really, really cool stuff. If you didn't read it, the whole run, I would check it out. It's 36 issues total with an annual, so 37 issues. You could probably find it collected somewhere, find it online, something like that. But it's worth the read, man. If you're a Daredevil fan, it is a great writing from Chip Zdarsky. So, yep, that's all I have this week, man. Anything else before we?
No, I
call it?
kind of wanted to just, and I was I'm glad
sorry.
I'm glad you said the Daredevil, because I was going to ask you like how it ended and how was it, and even though, like you said, it doesn't, and I didn't read it, so I knew nothing, but this could be this could be maybe my way to actually read this series is, I guess that's really what it's about. Even though it's not groundbreaking, like you said, like it's not changing anything, it's not changing the lore, but it's
Right.
all a one consolidated story. Like, and I'm sure like they didn't do any tie-ins, right? There was never. It was just this is what it was. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
issue 1 to 36 was like a straight through, like just keeps it, in a tight sandbox of all those issues. And I think that's what we don't get enough of.
right.
And that's the problem with a lot of titles is once it starts, then you have, and especially I guess really with different writers jumping on and changing things. Like if, with Chip doing this entire run, he knew his story. Like he knew what he wanted to tell, and that's what's great about it. And I think exactly like how, Donny Cates, yeah, he changed Venom, but people saying obviously that's the best Venom run. You could look at the Snyder Capullo, like that entire Batman storyline was a single storyline, like it was a single end game, like, and that's what it was. And I think maybe going back, maybe if I can find the 36 issues cheap, other than the Elektra one, hell, I don't even care. Maybe I'll pick up the second printing, but maybe I'll go back and I'll read this run.
Yeah, it didn't change anything with the character. Like we said, it's just a great story about Daredevil. And man, I feel like Chip Zdarsky's kind of been crushing it lately. Like his Spider-Man, dude, I don't remember what you call it, but the Spider-Man 60s life story, Spider-Man life story was really good, man. Really, really good. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with Daredevil. It's hard. He's a character that would be hard to change. You know what I mean? Like, there's not. He pretty much operates in this one little realm, and you kind of got to keep it there. But I thought it was great, dude. Really enjoyed that run. I'm a big Daredevil fan. I really am. It's just hard to find like ongoing Daredevil series that are great. Outside like the Frank Miller stuff and.
Well, what do you think is the pinnacle? Like, do you think the Frank Miller
Miller
stuff? Or?
Yeah. I mean, that's when all the like, you're talking like the Bullseye, Elektra, all that stuff. That is definitely the pinnacle, in my opinion. I also, I feel like this gets a lot of shit on it, but I enjoyed Shadowland.
Oh, I remember that time frame. That was good.
I really enjoyed the Shadowland storyline because it felt like that was a time when they did kind of change Matt Murdock a little bit. Like he's like, you know what, this shit ain't working for me. Now I got a little bit of power, and he became the leader of the Hand, and it kind of got a little out of control, and he got a little crazy, but I thought it was fun, dude, because you had all the street level characters. And I'm actually looking at the like the tie-ins and stuff for Devil's Reign, and it's all the street level stuff. Like you're gonna have Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, which is the Elektra stuff. You're gonna have a Moon Knight tie-in, Spider-Man tie-ins. Winter Soldier tie-in. Looks like there's an X-Men tie-in, which seems strange, but yeah, no, Shadowland. I enjoyed Shadowland a lot. I feel like
that mid 2000s storyline was dope. That was really good for him.
He had the black suit. That was it was badass. Yeah, he looked awesome, dude. A black suit with like just the red highlights here and there. Yeah, man. So yeah, check it out. I'd love to hear what you think about that. If you can, I mean, you can read them all 37 issues on the
I'm sure,
that website.
I'm sure I could find them, but yeah, I definitely think I haven't read it a while. I guess that was like probably the Shadowlands, and then I read the Charles Soule run a little bit. I remember that one.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
But yeah, I definitely think I'll give it a shot. So
cool.
That's it. Episode 47 in the books, everybody.
Yeah, man, we're getting there almost to. What's our year? Is it going to be 53 or?
No, I think we'll be at 50 or 51 because we took off a week. So we should be at 51.
Oh, we did take
my
1 week
guess.
off. Is that right?
Yeah, when I went to Terrificon and you took off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we'll hit 51, but it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
So shout out to everybody. Thanks so much for listening. I don't have any other closing words other than get your asses to Planet City next April.
Yes.
That's when it is. Kansas
yeah,
City.
April 22nd to the 24th.
Yeah, we will be there. So
yeah, make sure you get there, go to the con, let us know you're going. We'll figure something out. If you're not watching Wheel of Time, watch it. Make sure it's successful so that you don't hear me crying on the podcast because it got canceled or some shit like that. And make sure you're watching Hawkeye, and make sure you get your Spider-Man tickets if you haven't. And like we said on Lords last night, if you didn't hear, because we are recording Thursday the 1st or Wednesday the 1st. If you do need tickets to Spider-Man, I have 2 seats. I will sell them for $2,000 total, which is way cheaper than you're going to see in other places. You just got to come to El Paso and purchase the tickets, and I will wait. You can even tell me about it. I'll let you come ruin the story for me. So
I may take you up on that offer.
Come watch it and then come to my house afterwards and then ruin it all.
Oh my God, it was so great.
And then this happened, and then Tobey Maguire showed up.
All right,
here
everybody.
we go. Wait, real quick. Spider-Man No Way Home opening night in Burbank, California. $250. 0 bids right now on eBay.
That's awful.
How many tickets can you get? You're just like the poor sap who got 1 ticket to this movie and you're going by yourself. That's the only one on eBay I see right now.
Because they probably all got taken down because it's.
Can you? I mean, why would you get taken down?
Scalpers?
What's the difference from doing this than buying all the PlayStation 5s and selling them for like absurd prices? Right? Anyway. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Peace out.